You're good.
I would like to call this Committee of Adjustment meeting to order. Do I confirmation the agenda that the Committee of the Adjustment hereby accept the agenda for the July 18th, 2022 public hearing as presented. Do I have a mover? I have Paul mover. I have Rick seconding. All in favor? Carries. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Ottawa, and Mississaugas people. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Is there anyone that has a declaration? Not seeing any. We shall move on. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby adopts the minutes from the Committee of Adjustment hearing held June 6, 2022 as presented. Do I have a mover? I have Rick moving. Sorry, Kevin moving. I have Anita seconding. All in favor? Carries. Statement of precedent. That any decision reached by this committee cannot be used as a precedent. Number 6, scheduled applications, file number MV02-2022. Location plan 171 Block J, part of the Park Block 8, Block J, Blythe Ward, Township of North Huron, 216 Blythe Road. Application owner is Garrett Van Deeten, Huron Tractor, WVRH Holding, Inc. We'd like to now move to 6.1.1, and this presentation from the Huron County Planner.
Thanks to the committee for having me this evening. I will just bring up my presentation. So as mentioned, the subject minor variance is affecting property that's currently operated by a Huron Tractor. The subject property is located on the corner of Blythe Road and Queen Street on the south end of Blythe. In terms of the requested variances, the variances in request of facilitating the construction of an extension to the existing building for service bays to support the Huron Tractor operation. The lands are designated and zoned highway commercial. The specific variance that is being requested is to decrease the minimum rear yard setback from the required 7.5 meters to 6 meters. And just to show again the aerial image, where it says rear yard location, which is the northern property line, that is where the subject variance is. So the application is proposing to reduce the yard here by 1.5 meters. The property abutting is a residential property. In terms of site photos, the following does show site photos looking west of the rear yard, where a portion of the proposed extension is to be. And then the following shows the rest of the property where the extension would be, just looking north into a portion of that residential property. In terms of a draft site plan, the following was provided by the applicants. And the following just shows this a little bit closer up. So again, at the top of the screen is that northern property line, which has a proposed setback of 6 meters. And in particular, the applicant is proposing to remove a portion of the existing building, and then they would build a new extension that would be just under 12,000 square feet of building area. The following shows the elevations for the subject property. So looking at the east and west towards the side of the property. And then in terms of the north and south elevations, again, the north elevations will be what is abutting the rear yard subject to the variance. And the committee should note that there are no proposed entrances along this portion of the building, with the service bays being located on the south elevations. The application was considered against the 4 tests of the minor variance, as outlined in my report, and is considered to meet all 4 of these tests. The variance is considered minor with no adverse impacts expected. The proposal meets the intent of the official plan and follows all the other provisions of the zoning bylaw. The neighboring property to the north along the rear yard does have existing trees, which do provide a buffer, and the residential dwelling is not located right along this portion of the rear yard. In terms of comments, there were no concerns received from any agencies. The Township Director of Public Works, however, does note that any expansion of the parking area will need to consider other neighboring properties and just have consideration for any grading changes to avoid water directing to neighboring properties. These comments have been shared with the applicant for consideration and are anticipated that they would be addressed via site plan control, as that application will be required. And at that time, staff will expect that the applicant would provide detailed drawings that deal with grading and stormwater management. In terms of members of the public, no comments were received in writing as of current. In terms of recommendation, it is recommended that the application be approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that the structure be constructed within the footprint contained on the sketch that accompanied the application, and the structure be constructed as shown in the elevation drawings that accompany the application. And just a reminder to the committee that a second motion to the effect of public and agency comments will be required at the end of the meeting. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee has. I will note that the applicant is also in attendance this evening.
Thank you very kindly. 6.1.2 is an opportunity to comment from the applicant. If you would like, did you have anything you'd like to say, sir? Sure. Yep. If you don't mind just coming up, there should be a microphone there somewhere.
And if you can, can you please turn on that microphone? I don't believe it's on right now. The button's at the top.
Looks good. I've got a green light. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Garrett Van Deeten. I'm the general manager for Huron Tractor in Blythe. As you are all well aware, farm equipment isn't getting any smaller. The current big shop in our yard was designed for machines from the late 90s. To say that we're bursting at the seams is an understatement. We've been working at an expansion, whether we go expand at the lot or leave the town of Blythe, go to find a site somewhere else was another option. But we felt with Cowbell and Tim Hortons and the other fantastic retail opportunities in Blythe that we didn't think leaving the town of Blythe was a worthwhile option to look at. So what we're working on is a potential shop expansion. That would include the removal of two service bays from the existing building and adding on. This expansion would give us 5 properly sized service bays in addition to what we already have, all in which 3 are completely additional. It would also provide us with significant square footage of storage area. Once complete, the expansion will result in the addition of 2 technicians and 1 parts staff to the roster. So the minor variance under review allows us to build a proper 55-foot depth of bay in those service bays, all while actually using the building itself to close off the neighbors to the north for noise and dust and stuff like that. So thanks for your view and appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you. Opportunity to comment by others in attendance. I'm not seeing any hands go up. Opportunity for questions and comments by Committee of Adjustment members. Would anybody like to comment on this? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I just wanted to mention to Garrett that this is a good move. Happy to see it, and so good that you're staying in Blythe. I'm happy too that the neighbor to the north had no issues, because that would have been the one. So good move.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not seeing anyone. We'll move right along. Summary of comments and recommendation from the Huron County Planner and Development Department. Mrs. Holman.
In terms of comments, I recommend that the committee pick option A2, that no public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision, and that option B3 be selected, that agency comments were received in support of the application, the effect of which resulted in a decision to approve the application.
Thank you. Do I have a mover? I have Chris moving, second.
So you have to deal with the actual minor variance first.
Oh, I do apologize for
I
that.
jumped ahead there, Carson.
Decision of the Committee of Adjustment and effects on the comments received by the committee's decision. The motion would be that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves minor variance application MV02-2022 as it applies to Plan 171 Block J, Part of Park Lot 8, Block J, Blythe Ward, Township of North Huron, 216 Blythe Road. Application owners, Greta Van Deeten, Huron Tractor, WVRH Holdings, Inc., with the conditions set out in the report presented by Hannah Coleman, planner for the July 18, 2022 Committee of Adjustment hearing. Do I have a mover? I have Paul moving, I have Rick seconding. All in favor? Carries. And the second be the minor variance application MV02-2022 would be for number 2 and 3B. Do I have a mover? I have Chris moving, I have Kevin seconding. All in favor? Carries. Fastest meeting we've ever had. Reminder of appeal period. Minor variance procedures following a public meeting. That the Secretary Treasurer sends within 10 days a certified copy of the decision indicating the last day of the appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal Board, OLT 2. The applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, if requested, each person who appeared in person or by counsel at the hearing and who filed with the Secretary Treasurer a written request of notice for the decision. If no appeal is lodged after the 20-day objection period has expired and no appeal has been lodged, the decision of the Committee of Adjustment is final and binding. The Secretary Treasurer shall notify the applicant. If the notice of appeal is lodged within 20 days of the Committee of Adjustment making decisions, an appeal is lodged with the Secretary Treasurer outlining reasons for such appeal, and said appeal is accompanied with the required fee of $400, the Committee of Adjustment no longer retains jurisdiction over this application. If a proper appeal is lodged, the Secretary Treasurer is required to provide proper notice to the Ontario Land Tribunal Board, OLT. That there be no further business before the Committee of Adjustment. The public hearing is now adjourned at 5:42 p.m. Do I have a mover? I have Anita moving, I have Rick seconding. All in favor? Carries. Thank you.